John, welcome.
No,
welcome. So this is, we call this Sports Talk with Bob Mack. That's my show. And right now I'm doing the Suffolk Sports Hall of Fame edition. Okay. So I'm interviewing our 2026 inductees, which you happen to be one of. You have a historic coaching career, but also an amazing career as an official and an amazing athletic career yourself. So those are kind of the three things we're going to talk about today that got you into the Hall of Fame.
Right. Let me start off by saying, when I graduated high school as a senior, I was 5'2", 145 pounds. And I was lucky enough to be chosen on Newsday's first All-Island team and a runner-up for the Hanson Award. So the first maybe piece of advice or something I could say, I've had a great athletic career, right? And it's not because of my talent or skills I have, but I guess I grew up in Central Islip. Right.
Sure.
Toughness. If you wanted to survive on the athletic fields or in the playgrounds, you learn to be tough and handle adversity. I played with the O'Learys and the Blacks. 2 of them are in the Hall of Fame right now.
Wow.
And probably 2 others should be there also. And the Central Islip community developed me as an athlete. My parents were Italians. My father was an immigrant. My mom didn't know anything about athletics. I learned off the streets. And that's the first thing. And the second thing, I got to say, I met a girl when I was 17 years old. Right? And when I went to officiate, I just passed the IBO test. I went to officiate a CYO game. My
CYO basketball?
Was coaching this 8th grade CYO team. And he said, "Do you know my scorekeeper?" And I said, "No." He says, "You should get to know her. She'd be a perfect mate for you." All right, 6 years later, we were engaged. She has supported me on the athletic field. She's been a referee for me in the stands, all right, telling me when I blew a call or when the coaches were out of order. She's
that's
been there,
fantastic.
all right, all my life, all right, in my athletic life. So I have to thank her, and I thank my children.
And what's her name?
Me. Her name is Valerie, all right?
Valerie.
And Valerie Egan is the former name. So,
all right.
She's Irish, so that should make you feel good. All right?
Valerie Egan. There you go. There's the wife that got you through it all.
That's how I started my athletic career, really. I've had some great experiences in all 3 sports, football, baseball, and basketball.
You played those 3 sports growing up?
Yeah, I didn't play basketball. I played a little basketball, but Joe Ballin was our athletic director, and I was a football, baseball player, and I had a very good friend who was a soccer baseball player, and we were working out in the off season, and we were juniors, and he came into the weight room where we were working out, and he said, "You know, 2 guys, I'm starting an intramural elementary school league, all right, basketball in Central Islip, and I need 2 guys to referee." This was 1961. All right. So he said, "I'll pay you $5 a game." So we were
and you're still in high school?
Yeah, and we were working 3-4 games in high school, and we started a refereeing career. And then that's how I started refereeing. Right? And
while you were in high school, that's wild.
And then we worked a scrimmage our senior year. Central Islip was a good basketball community, and they were scrimmaging in Mattatuck. Jack Husnader, I think his name was. And they came in and the AD closed the gym, and we refereed the scrimmage. And Jack Husnader comes over to us after and says, "You guys were good, better than some of the guys out east. All right, you should become officials." And Ballin was there, and he said, "Yeah, he's become officials." Tony Amato was the basketball coach. They both encouraged us. We both went for the test. All right, my partner, my friend, decided to go into the Army, so he never carried it out. But I carried it out. Passed the IBO test when I was a freshman in college, and I've been officiating ever since. This is the first winter of 63 years that I haven't refereed. Last winter down in Florida, at the age of 79, I refereed 66 games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do it.
I didn't know you went down there and were officiating. Oh, that's incredible.
Up here in Suffolk County, then went down in
52.
Florida. Three-man officiating, so for somebody my age, it was a little easier.
Yeah, sure.
I was able to do it.
You don't have to get all the way up and down as quickly.
So medical issues this year prevented me from doing it, but I'm hoping next year I can get back on the court we'll see what it happens. You know?
Wow,
So-
what an amazing start. So take me back to when you were growing up in CI playing sports. Who was your influence for football and for baseball? Who was
I
behind
guess-
you on that?
I don't know. My Little League coach got me into coaching. In reality, I didn't realize it. He asked me when I was 11 years old, going into my 12 year, who should he draft? He wanted to know who I thought were the best players in the community.
Sure.
And he let me call pitchers even at that time and direct people around the field. He says, John, you're the boss. Do what you want. So I started. That we even realized what I was doing. Then when I got into high school, my senior year, the football coach and staff got the athletic director, Joe Ballin, who was my phys ed teacher,
Right.
to excuse me from going to phys ed class. Instead of going to phys ed class, I had to go to the football office, turn on the projector, and look at football film and draft what I would do defensively.
Oh, wow.
So George O'Leary,
You're
was
way
my
ahead of the game.
best friend. We were sitting in the cafeteria. He became the football coach at Georgia Tech and UCF.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And he
Of course,
drew up
George
offensive
O'Leary.
plays, and I would defend them. We were doing that during lunch. Who the heck knew, all right, that we would both end up being coaches, all right?
Yeah.
And
both
they
having historic
in
careers.
high school, my senior year, they let me call the defenses. They let me move around guys wherever I wanted to, as long as I cleared with them on Friday before the end of the week. They said, you can do what you want. And I was running the defense, and we were playing at, which I didn't know, we were playing what the pro school called over and unders. We were one of the first high school teams to run a 4-3 defense. Right? And what I was doing was, when I later went to some clinics, when I started coaching, they were talking about over and unders, and we were doing that in high school without even
That's
knowing
why a 4-3 back then, especially when everybody's running the ball, you would think people are going to run a 50 or a 4-4 at the very least, but running a 4-3 is a little innovative.
Dave Goldstein, who I believe is in the Hall of Fame also, he was a great advanced. He was ahead of all the other coaches.
Sure.
He would go to clinics and know people, and he would try to do some other things. When I started coaching for him, we would work on an offense. He said, I want to run a veer, or I want to do this. He let us put it in and do it. When I went on defense, when I wanted to call a defense, he just let him know and go do it, you know.
That's wild.
I mean, he was a great psychologist, and a great tactician, but he let us do everything, and he let me as a player do more than I could ever think of doing. Right?
Yeah, that's a huge, to me, to entrust a high school kid to make those decisions.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened. You went undefeated.
And we went undefeated.
Yeah.
We were the first team in Central Islip to win a football championship. So,
That is unbelievable. And you were calling the defenses.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, and where'd you go to college after that?
I went 2 years at Suffolk and then to Delphi University.
Okay.
And my parents, being Italian, didn't want me to go far away.
Far
from
away.
School. I had a couple of offers to go. I mean, I went to Adelphi and my phys ed was flag football or something like that.
Sure.
And the phys ed teacher comes up to me and he said, I'm leaving Delphi and I'm going to St. Lawrence as the defensive coordinator. I want you to come with me. And I said, no, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't drop out of school and just go coach. Yeah.
So I had some opportunities, but I struggled class-wise. When I was a high school student, getting good grades. Not that I was stupid, but I was so involved in sports.
Sure. Yeah, just
So
wasn't your focus or your
my
passion.
Parents, they were paying now. I promised my parents I would concentrate on my grades and do the right thing. And I officiated. I was working and they called me to do a game, and I told the boss I had to leave to referee a game, and because that was my priority. I wanted to referee.
Sure. So you're officiating at the end of high school. You're officiating while you're at Adelphi.
I also from time I was 17 to this past winter referee. I've worked more. I think I gotta say I've worked more Suffolk County finals probably than anybody. And I worked the New York State Championship, and like I said, I was
10-time official of the year.
Right.
10 times official of the year award.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, 10 times. Right. And now my son this year was the first time he went to the state tournament. of
Yeah,
referee.
that's
So we're proud of
unbelievable.
that, yeah.
Great legacy.
Yeah.
Really great legacy.
Yeah.
And you were talking earlier about coaching against Tom Cassis.
Yeah,
Tell us
I'm not
about
sure
that.
of the year, but we just got into the playoffs. All right, we were a young team. We had 13 sophomores on the roster. I had just taken over Central Islip. It was my second year there at Central Islip. We had a very good quarterback. All right, a kid by the name of Byron Hurd, who went on to play at Northeastern. All right,
Okay.
Okay. All right. But we were very young with, like I said, 13 sophomores.
A lot of sophomores,
so
yeah.
we struggled. And we ended up tied, and two other teams, and they didn't want to even play. They said when we had the meeting, how we were going to get in, they said we rather stay out of it and let Central Islip go into the playoffs. So I said, yeah, we'll play them. All right? So we went into the game with Cassis, and they had such a great team. Like I said, they were scoring over 300 points.
Was he
and
still
they only
running
given
that
up
wing
30.
T?
Yeah.
Was he running the wing T?
He was running the wing T with, yeah, all right, okay. And what happened was just before the playoffs, the final game of the season, we played Huntington, and we lost our two senior tackles, got hurt. So now, not only are we going in to play Comstock, we're without our two senior tackles. So we were an option team, a dive option team.
So those tackles are important.
Right. Okay, so we had worked on the triple option in the spring or in the summer in August, before the season started. And then we went back. We didn't run it during the season. And we looked at the film, and our coaching staff said we should really run triple, coach. I said, I know that, but let's hold off. All right. And we usually met with the players on Monday, and we would give them a game plan. That Monday, I told them, defensively and offensively, we're still working on a game plan.
Sure.
We'll let you know, all right, Tuesday what we're going to do. But we had a practice. I always had a procedure. Any player that left the locker room when he went home, when the coaches were always there, you had to say goodnight to the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
So that if I yelled and
that.
screamed at them, all right, I wanted to make sure they realized that it wasn't anything personal, that we still loved them, all right? Okay?
Sure.
So the quarterback comes in to say goodnight, and he says to me, Coach, I says, I think we should run triple option this week. All right? It was Byron Hurt who brought it up. I said, Byron, we were thinking the same thing. We held off, and I'm glad you said it. So we went into the Comstock game the first time running triple option. And we felt our way through the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the third quarter, we pitched the ball off the triple option. The tailback runs it up the sideline. All right? My offensive coordinator says to me, let's throw the pass off the triple option. All right? And we did that, all right, and we scored 2-point conversion. We came back.
Nice.
I came back in the next time we got the ball, just before half. He says, throw the pass again. We did it, and Ronnie Bowens run 70 yards for a touchdown, and we jump ahead of them, all right, 14-13. And they were in shock.
I'm sure.
To be behind that, they only gave up 13 points all season. We scored 14 points in the last 4 minutes
Of the first half.
quarter.
Yeah, that's
right?
amazing.
And they panicked a little, and we intercepted the ball, recovered a fumble, and ended up winning the game. I mean, it was a major upset. Major. Tom Cassis came in. He says to me, John, that was the best team I ever had. You guys blew the doors off us. So, I mean,
Well, you outcoached him.
Yeah,
he wasn't ready for the triple option.
We just got a little lucky.
He didn't see it on film. He wasn't. They weren't prepared for it, right?
It's just we got a little lucky. We executed.
Executed well.
And then we had to play we had to play Huntington in the finals. We had beat Sable in the semis. All right, on what it was the coldest days. All right, in the year. And the funny thing about the Sable game, it was so cold. I thought the county would call the game off, but like I said, we had 13 sophomores, and we were working on the option in August, right? And they were pitching the ball. The ball was on the ground all the time. Well, Coach D, who's very calm all the time anyway, started yelling and screaming at them, all right? Okay? And I told them, and coming from Central Islip, we had a good black population.
Sure.
I said to them, you black guys are going to tell me in November when we're playing for a championship, it's too warm or it's too cold. Now it's warm and the ball's on the ground. There's no excuses, all right? So we go to Sayville, and it's the coldest day. I think it was like 16 degrees, 18 degrees.
Oh,
and,
boy.
and I thought they were going to cold off, but they didn't. We get out there, and we get into the locker room just before we go out in the field, right? And the quarterback, Byron Hurd, says to me, Coach, can I say a few things? And I said, sure, Byron. He says to me, he says to the guy, he gets up, he says, the black guys don't fumble today. All right? Okay? He remembered what I had told him in August, all right? He says, the black guys don't fumble today. We went out and executed perfectly. We blocked 2 punts. We pitched the ball. We threw the ball. We didn't have one ball on the ground all day long, and we beat them. Then we had to go into Huntington.
Wow. Teamwork and leadership.
All right? We went into Huntington, who had beaten us by 3 touchdowns. Now we had the seniors back that were hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we were almost like a 2-platoon team. I played Byron Hurd on defense, which I had not done during the season, right, because I always want to put a quarterback in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Right, but this
You're
last
playing
game,
back at free safety, like somewhere away from the box?
Yeah. So so this week against Huntington, I said, Tim, you're going to play secondary. You're going to play safety for us, okay? Well, we were down 14-0 before, 13-0 before we were still down a point at halftime. We scored 2 and we came back at halftime. We were down a point and we came out and scored in the third quarter. And then they were trying to drive again in the fourth quarter. And Byron makes a big interception and we won the game like 25-14. Right? Derek McCord, they had 3 guys went to the Division I. 2 of them to Rutgers and 1 to San Jose State.
Wow.
All right.
Boy, you're on a roll.
We ended up beating them. Gavin McCord, Derek McCord was the quarterback that Huntington team. Gavin McCord, who played for Syracuse last year and came out from Notre Dame before that. All right, his father was the quarterback at that time.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Wow. And then who else did you have? It was that same year where you played against Belport and East Islip?
That was 2 years later.
2 years later?
We were a better team. We were a strong team. This is a different team, different reverse. We were picked to be one of the better teams in the county, but we lost the first 2 ball games. We lost to East Islip when
was that Sal?
My All County running back sprained his ankle in the first quarter. Eric Unbizak, who ended up being an All-American at Wisconsin, and played for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
He sprained his ankle in the first quarter, and then we lost to Belport on a controversial field goal at the end of the game. So we were 0-2 the first 2 games of the season.
Wow.
Against Belport and East Islip.
And that's Sal champion Joe Sipp, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So then we ended up winning the next, get into the playoffs. We opened up the playoffs with Bayshore. We beat them in a close game. All right. Then we had to go to East Islip, and we beat East Islip with Sal's son being the quarterback.
Oh, Sal Jr. was the quarterback?
He was the quarterback.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, the current coach now at East Islip.
It was a very windy day. All right. And we scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. They came back with the win and scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. We get the ball with the win the third quarter, but they shut us out. So I'm saying to myself, we're in trouble now.
Yeah, they're getting the win in the fourth quarter.
All right, but we held them off. All right, we held them off, and then we started pounding the ball. All right, with Umbisak, all right, who was a big, strong kid.
Sure.
All right, and we scored. All right, to take a 21-14, and then we shanked the kick. The kids tell me I told them to shank it. I don't know. I don't remember. But we shanked the kick, and we recovered the fumble on the kickoff.
Oh, really?
It was like an onside.
They thought it was an onside, but it was a shank.
Okay. All right. Okay. And we recovered and banged it in again and won the game 28-14, And
Great
then
win.
we had to go to Belport.
Yeah.
All right. When we go to Belport, all right, and it was nothing at half, nothing at the end of the third quarter, but we had made a goal line stance just before the end of the third quarter, right? They had first down from the 3, second down from the 1, third down for inches, right? And we just stopped them on third down on inches, all right, okay? I think almost like second. And their fourth down, I thought for sure they were going to dive it again.
I was going to say, yeah, but they're not going to kick the ball because Belport doesn't kick.
He ran a bootleg.
Okay.
Right? And my defensive end, Gary Monge was his name, right, stayed home. Against the kid who ended up playing at Kentucky. I forget the kid's name.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
The quarterback who played at Kentucky for out of Belport.
He went.
Right?
Did he go with Jeff?
Right.
With Joe's son, because Joe's son Jeff also went to Kentucky that year.
So Monge makes the tackle. All right. So now we're going to the fourth quarter. It was nothing. We had put in a play, an offensive play that I held off calling or using. We got one or two first downs, so we got about the 35, 40-yard line. So we called this play into it. Well, we read in the papers that the cornerback, who was maybe the same quarterback.
Probably.
All right, okay, was leading the Belport team in tackles. And I'm saying, how's the cornerback leading the team in tackles? And when we felt as a staff, he was leaving his responsibility.
He's cheating. Yeah, I knew where you were going. He's cheating.
We put in a play where our quarterback opened up to one side and threw back to the receiver. Okay.
So across the field.
Across the field. It would be a good throw.
Yeah.
All right. So we called it, and sure as shoot. All right. He's wide open, catches the ball, and we run it in. All right. So now we're middle of the fourth quarter. About 10 minutes to 8 minutes left of the game. They come back down and they tie the score. All right, okay? Mm-hmm. So now we're 8-8, all right, with about 4 or 5 minutes left. All right, okay? We come down, we get a first down, second down. We threw another counter option pass, all right, which was a shorter pass for Brian Weller, at my other end, makes a great catch on it, takes the ball first and goal on the 9. With about 2 minutes left in the game. We had always, all right, called beforehand, so our whole team know. If we had first and goal on the 8 or 9, we were throwing the ball. We were going to play action and we throw the ball. All right. So SIP goes timeout. All right. So I go out and I say we're going to throw the dump or the counter option.
Sure.
Throw the dump. All right. Short pass.
Drop it in the flat.
You ever see the Hoosiers film when they're playing for the championship?
Yep.
And they have this one shot left, and he says to the star, all right, well, you're going to use you as a decoy, and he turns the other play, and
Correct.
they all look at him. Well, that's the same scene. Same exact scene.
Hoosiers.
I said, we're going to run this pass, and they all look at me, and they're all staring, and I saw it in their eyes, and Eric Umbersack, who is my all-county fullback, says to me, Coach, just give me the ball. Just give me the ball, all right? I'll take care of it. Well, we dived with the ball. I think he carried 8 guys into the end zone, and we ended up winning the game. Right?
That is awesome.
All right, and then we beat
you got some
Connecticut.
great memory, by the way.
Yeah, and we beat Connecticut in the final. We knew Connecticut. My son had played for Connecticut the year before. Nick Matthews was the coach.
Is this in the 90s, 80s?
91 or 90, something like that.
90?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
So before Chad Bosch,
it was
probably,
87
right?
and 90, I think it was. Because 87, I think I came to CI. I left Connecticut to go to CI to take over the program. And the second year was Byron Hurt's year.
Okay.
86 or 87. And then 90, 2 or 3 years later, we played Connecticut. But most of my staff was from Connecticut. We knew all those kids. We knew them all because my son played with all those kids, and we knew them all. All right. And we just felt we were a better team, but it ended up being a 15-13 game. All right, we were winning by 2 touchdowns at halftime. I was impatient. All right, okay, and they had Bots.
Chad Bosch. I remember Chad.
Tailback. All right,
the best in the county at the time.
We were slanting towards him. All right. And they knew we were doing that, so they were running the short side of the field, and we couldn't get our hands on the ball. So I got impatient. I said, let's stop slanting so we can stop them and get the ball. And sure, shoot. All right. They pitched the ball to Bosch. He turns the corner and runs a 60-yard touchdown. And then they threw the ball. My safety falls down. And before we know it, it's a 15-13 game. We stopped. All right. We stopped the extra point. Right. And then they kick off to us. All right. And I was never easy on the officials, all right? But Joe...
Unofficial
Joe
himself.
Dooley, Joe Dooley was the referee. And the ball is... Kickoff is a low kickoff, right? And my kid goes down, and his knee doesn't hit the ground, but he catches the ball low, like on the 8-yard line. And runs it out to the 45-yard line. All right, so I thought we had good field position to do what we wanted to do. Dooley comes to me and says, John, the linesman blew the whistle. I got to bring the ball back to the 8.
Come on.
All right. Now, all the momentum was Connecticut, all right, at that time. All right. So now we had to start first and 10 from the 8 instead of the 45. All right. And they're coming with 8 guys at us.
Just loading the box on you.
They're bringing the house.
Sure.
All right? But we were able to pound it. We pitched a few safe pitches into the short side of the field. We got it down to the 8 or 9 yard line, first and goal. My coaches would tell me, pass the ball. I said, no, the clock is more important.
Well, you got to keep Chad Bosch off the field.
Especially with Chad Bosch. I said, and they had a field goal kid.
Yeah.
Kick field goals for 50-yard line.
Sure.
50 yards.
And Chad could return the ball, too.
Right, yeah. So I said, no, we're just going to run the ball and work the clock.
Yep.
If they stop us on downs, they're not going to have a lot of time to go. Well, they stopped us on downs about the 5-yard line. All right. They ran a play, got a first down. My defensive coordinator says, John, don't forget to have that field goal kicker. So we put a stunt on, and on the sack, all right, hits that Bosch. He fumbles the ball. Paul Curry recovers it, and we win the championship.
Wow!
You know,
Oh, what a great story! What a great memory!
Yeah, you know,
that's a huge. All those games.
Yeah, they were
huge. I mean, those are big
outstanding.
games against big
We had
teams.
some outstanding kids, all right, and they were good kids on the football field. Some of their backgrounds, you know, coming from Central Islip, a lot of them were single parents.
Sure.
Parents, and they loved the locker room. They loved the locker room. They would stay. You know, we put a lot of time in as coaches, all right, looking at film. And there were nights where we would walk out at 8 o'clock, and I had to kick them out of the locker room. You know.
So they were dedicated.
Yeah,
they were there.
They really
and
enjoyed the time.
I think just like I was the athletic director at Bellport for 12 years.
Yeah.
And when I first got there, I really saw what Joe Sipp did for kids.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of street kids that Bellport football team was his family. And it sounds like the same thing with you.
Yeah, it's
at CI,
we were doing the
you were
same
taking
thing.
care of those
It was
kids,
more
giving them a
important to
family.
Give them discipline, you know, give them
Structure.
Show you, even though we, like I said before, we had that rule that they couldn't leave without saying goodbye. If they forgot it, then we called them at home to make sure. All right,
I love
everything
that.
was okay. Yeah,
That's
that was
fantastic.
part of,
You know Jim McAllister? Remember Jim McAllister, the official? He worked with Dooley.
okay.
He was he's my brother's father-in-law.
all right,
Yeah, he's like 91 or 92 now. Great guy.
They were Dooley was one of the guys that helped me become a basketball official.
Okay.
All right, you know, he got me through the written test, make sure I didn't miss any of the written test, and then he called me. I had to go through the mechanics and the floor test.
Sure.
All right, so the written test was like a Monday or Tuesday, and then the mechanics was Saturday morning with John Barizer over in Islip. All right, so Dooley made me go to Brentwood when he was doing a CYO game, and he showed me all the mechanics. He's like, I never forgot how good he was to me. You know?
Yeah, he was a great guy. And those guys, they also ran all the lifeguard tests.
Yeah.
So all your phys ed teachers and all the coaches are all the lifeguards all over Long Island to this day.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tell my audience about your family. You told us a little bit about Valerie. Tell us about the kids and what they're doing now,
I have
and
3 of them.
all the grandkids in college.
Right.
Give us some of that.
Yeah. My oldest daughter, Lisa, I went to State University of Brockport and never came home. And she has 3 children.
She stayed up there in the cold.
Oh, yeah. I spoke to her last night with a cold, you know.
Man.
She'll be down for the induction. So with her oldest child, Amanda, who works for the Department of Defense.
Right.
She's an RPI graduate and does a tremendous
RPI, fantastic school.
A supervisor, all right, and he handles chemical terrorism, all right. And then my grandson from my oldest daughter is a chef up there, and my youngest one is a teacher aide in one of the elementary schools.
Oh, okay.
Right? So they're hanging in there. all
Sure,
right?
sure.
My son, who I said to you, is a basketball official now, and
Right.
went to the New York State Finals this year.
Did the state finals?
Right, for the first time, and he was ranked number one, I guess, as a girls official this year.
Nice.
So he followed.
Followed in your footsteps.
Followed
Yep,
in the footsteps.
absolutely.
Started coaching in Brentwood, all right, and then gave it up because
Was he coaching football in Brentwood?
he coached football and he was head baseball coach at Brentwood.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. My buddy Larry Mooney, a guy that I played college football with, his brother Christopher was coaching football at Brentwood for a while. I wonder if they were together at all.
And Patrick was an JV football coach or assistant coach for 1 or 2 years, and then he married a girl who didn't understand athletics. And I told him going to
Right.
administration, and he's the principal of Locust Valley now.
Right.
And
Oh, that's
he
awesome.
has four children. One's graduated University of Georgia last May. Works in New York City, right across the street from Madison Square Garden and Investments. One is going to be a nurse. She's at University of Tennessee, and the other one, I don't know. I think she's in business also. She's at Arizona State as a freshman.
Oh, fantastic.
My
Fantastic
grandson,
schools.
He has 4 children. He's going into his senior year at Smithtown West, and he's a golfer. All right, so
He's smart.
see what happens. Yeah.
Being a golfer, that's what I should have been, not a football player and a wrestler. I'm paying for that now.
And my youngest daughter, Stephanie, she went to Frostburg State. Academically, she
Frostburg,
wasn't
nice.
turned on to it, but she had so many friends from Frostburg State. She became a friend of the state of Maryland. All right, okay. So even when she came back to New York and worked, right, she would make trips down to Maryland with friends of hers that she knew from Frostburg State. She ended up marrying a football coach out of Townsend, all right, out of state. So he worked at Townsend for a few years now. He's an assistant athletic director at St. Thomas Aquinas upstate. She eventually graduated from Malloy, back to school, graduated from Malloy. He's a doctorate. He has a doctorate out of LSU, doctorate. All right, and he's assistant athletic director. All right, she got her bachelor's out of Malloy, then her master's out of Fordham. All right, and she works in social work, and she's written articles on social work. She's a supervisor. Right, she's probably going to get a doctorate also, I believe.
Yeah, wow.
She supervises a home. So she's done a great job in the area of social work. What I'm proud of is at least 2 to 3 of my kids work with people to help people.
Sure.
In one capacity. You're an educator, teacher. You're working to help
Yeah.
people.
It sounds like they all really, in one way or another, followed in your footsteps.
Right.
Like it's there. You can see that imprint in there.
Right.
That is just awesome. Awesome stuff. What's your favorite, or what? Tell me about officiating. Like some of the toughest game you ever officiated, or toughest coach out there who wouldn't stop. You know what I'm saying? Especially in basketball, they try and follow you up and down the
They
sideline.
used to give me the Bayshore Deer Park game every year. All right, and there was some great games. All right, Bayshore had I forget the names. They had a guard who played at Iona. Right? Deer Park had a great scoring center. I think he led the NCAA. Maybe out of Richmond or something.
Yeah,
like
Deer
that.
Park. Who was the kid? I can't remember his name. Who went? He went pro.
Right. Yeah.
Really, really good. Yeah.
So I had that game for 2-3 years in a row, and in fact we were engaged. Right, and I worked the game with Hank Johnson. All right, one of the first black officials in Suffolk County, and I was a very young official, and they were hanging off the rafters in the old Bayshore gym. All right, it was a big rivalry. All right, and I said to my fiancée at that time, I said, "Val, just sit up in the stand, keep your mouth shut, don't tell anybody who you're with." All right. So the game got so
that guy's terrible.
All right, okay. The game got so tough, right? And some kids in the stand says, "Well, we'll get that little guy after the game." All right. So after the game, she comes down. All right, and she's John. They're gonna be waiting for you outside. All right, okay. So Hank Johnson was my partner that night. All right, and he had a weapon in it from being a detective with him.
Oh,
He said,
boy.
and the other, the head of security was also the detective. All right, okay, all right, and they escorted us out. Of course, there was nobody there.
Right,
all
right.
So that was one game that I never forgot. I worked with Artie Figliosi. I had the same Bayshore Deer Park game. All right, a year or 2 years later. All right, and it was Artie Figliosi's last game, and the same thing. It was a bang bang, tough game. Kevin Bow played for Deer Park in that game. All right, and it was a great game. All right, and then I think there was a game in the Suffolk County final, Santa Mauritius with Dominic Savino coaching, and I think it was maybe against Brentwood. All right, they won triple overtime.
Oh, is that Center and Brentwood?
It was
Santa Mauritius?
and Brentwood.
Brentwood.
I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All
Well, that
right?
would be when they play like the big school,
was-
small
it was-
school.
yeah, right,
after
right.
they both
County
won already.
championship,
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, okay.
I
And that
remember
was
that.
a triple overtime was a great game. And then I'll give you a Joe Mayer story. I don't know if you know Joe Mayer at Harvard Field. All right, they had a game against Babylon. Bobby Mayo was the star. Brett Barrett was the star for Harvard Field, and they were playing for first place.
Now, was this
Right.
Bob Mayo who became the athletic director, Bob Mayo?
But yeah,
Yeah,
right,
okay.
and he
So I
was
know
playing
Bobby.
for Babylon.
Mhm.
Right, and Brett Barrett, who ended up playing for Kentucky and was an athlete, an agent for a lot of the pro players
Okay.
out of Kentucky. All right, they were playing for first place. Right, and what happened was, all right, I was just about ready to leave my home in Ronkonkoma, and we got a call. It was about 5:30, 6 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. All right, and it was my wife's aunt who was visiting her mother, and my wife's mother and father. They found her in her chair, all right, and she had a heart attack, all right. So they called the police, all right, okay. So we ran over there,
Sure.
and I didn't want to leave my in-laws or my wife there until it was all cleared up. And the police came, the morgue people came, all right, okay, and I was later. So one of the police that came in knew me,
Mhm.
right? And he says, John, everything, are you okay? And he says, yeah. I said, but I got a basketball game over in Harvard Fields, all right?
Hey, you
So
know,
he said, I'll take care of that for you. I'll call over to the police that are over there, make sure they know you're going to be late, all right? So I stuck around. I finally got to the game about 45 minutes late, all right? And they were waiting for me because it was a first
So they
place
held the game up.
They didn't want to use the JV official.
Sure.
All right. So they knew I was coming. All right. So they waited for the start. So I throw the ball up. All right. Ball goes down the court. First or second time down the court. All right. And I blow the whistle. Foul on Brett Burrup. Okay. All right. I go and make the table. Joe Mayer gets up in front of everyone. He says, "We waited an hour for that."
Oh, man.
You know, he broke everybody up in a plate.
Sure.
All right. So, but you asked me what there were some famous games, some tough games, but the friendships that I developed. All right. Mitch Kupchak.
Mitch Kupchak.
Who I belonged to a reading group. Gustav Fury started a reading group with a lot of ex-coaches and guys involved in athletics.
Sure.
And Kupchak was part of the group when he left the Lakers and came home here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before he went to Charlotte. All right, he was a member of the reading group. So the first time I walk in with Kupchak, he gets up and he says, "Hey, there's John, the best official I've ever had." You know,
Nice.
It made me feel good. It's the friendships that I had. You know,
Sure.
It's very all the guys I worked. I guess my reputation as a football player, all right, and a coach helped me on a basketball court also, all right, because everything's done by ratings, all right.
Yeah.
And
everybody's connected. Everybody in Section 11
Right, you
is
know.
connected one way or another.
It was a time when they used to say to the officials, "Don't talk to the coaches, make the call." But I always would talk to them. I was a coach.
Sure.
And I knew, explain it to them, explain what you see, and be honest with them, and be sincere about it, and they will respect that. And that's how I handle it. So there were some great opportunities, great games. All right, some of the state finals games, were interesting. I went up to work a state ground with a Catholic school with Rochester, and the coach was the roommate of one of the high school coaches down here. you know. So there was a lot
Yeah,
of
there was connections there.
I made friends there. There's a guy up there that lives in Elmira, all right, who I didn't work with, but he saw me work there two years in a row, and he was a referee, and he worked it. We still communicate, all right, all after all these years.
That's awesome.
These years. It's friendships you make that you
Yeah.
never forget, you know.
Well, I think that I always ask my guests about their legacy, and I think that's one part of your legacy is just the relationships that you built throughout your historic and super long career.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time for people to be barking at you. I mean, you know, people have asked me because I've been in sports my whole life. I was an athletic director. I coached football, wrestling, lacrosse. I even coached basketball for a little while, and I never played basketball in my life. But I don't envy our officials. I feel like parents are relentless. Some coaches are relentless. They're just like they forget that you're a human being.
Yeah, well, you see, I always took it from the perspective of a coach. I said, when a coach overreacted, I try to calm him down, and let him know what I saw. And I said, hey, this is what I saw. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I saw, and I'm being honest with you. That's the way I feel. Right? So there's some guys that will get out of control, but you try to keep them, you know. I've thrown some guys out of the game. I mean, and one guy threw out, and he came in and apologized. Another guy, I called a technical on one of his players in the last minute of the game and cost him the game. He ended up being one of my best friends in the world.
Really?
All right, okay. I thought this happened on a Friday night. I called the technical on his star player, and he lost by one point. All right, and what I didn't realize, all right, it was King Park and John Glenn game.
Okay.
And without naming names.
Sure.
All right. The coach of Kings Park and the head coach of John Glenn were not too friendly because of the fact the head coach of John Glenn was on the school board at Kings Park.
Oh.
And wanted a coach at Kings Park.
Gotcha.
So there's some bitterness.
Yeah,
so
I could see that.
when I crossed the Kings Park, the game when they called it technical, which was warranted. All right. Okay. He hit the roof. Now I had to go back on Tuesday to work at Kings Park. All right. So what happened was, all right, I was a little afraid about going. I was a young official. I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this.
Sure.
The veterans then said, John, go, don't worry about it. All right. So I went there, and I remember I just went across the court, stayed away from him. All of a sudden, he's cussed walking across the court at me. I'm saying, uh-oh.
Yeah,
right?
it was a
I'm
problem.
in for it
Yeah.
here, all right? Instead of that, he puts his hand out, shakes hands, gives me a hug. He says, you were absolutely right. I apologize. He ended up becoming one of my best friends in the game, you know?
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. And that's what hopefully what it's really all about, right? Like you get heated. I've been heated as a coach. I think I've yelled at every official that's ever walked on a wrestling mat or a field with me. And at the end of every single game, hey, sorry, you know, my kids are out there. I'm getting a little upset. I'm worried about them, but you're doing the best job you could do. And like you said, a lot of those guys I'm really close with to this day too.
You know, I mean, they're close, and I understand as a coach, you understand where they're coming from, you know. And,
Sure.
It always helped me, I think, as an official, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the camaraderie. I enjoyed the competition, the challenge of making the right call. It bothered me when I made a wrong call and things like that. And I remember Babylon, when we had a rain out of Babylon one game, way back. I forget the coaches, but we threw the ball up, and it was raining out, and a kid goes down for a layup and slips. Another kid slipped, and I said, we can't play the game this way. The roof was leaking, all right? So we got back, all right? Then I had an incident in Brentwood where there was a shooting, all right?
Oh,
okay, all right.
small issue.
Okay, again, the gym was Brentwood against Sachem. They were playing for first place.
Oh, so the gym was probably packed.
Sachem East, all right, okay? And I call a foul with 10 seconds left in the game against Brentwood, all right? And the Sachem East kid is going to shoot two, down by one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I go to the table, and all of a sudden, as I'm making the call, I hear bang, bang, all right? The two guys were standing right by the door, right next to a security cop,
Wow.
all right? He pulls out a gun and shoots the guy next to him, all right, and runs out the door. The place went bonkers.
Sure.
Of course, running all over. The manager for the station team, I coached her brother in baseball, all right, came over to me and she put her arms around me. She said, you stay safe, all right, okay, all right, okay. And I said, I'm okay. Are you okay? He said,
Yeah.
all right. But they finally caught him, all right, and we couldn't finish the game, so we go back and I'm working with Larry Izzo,
Sure.
who's a member of the Hall of Fame also. And Larry could go back in, all right? And Larry kissed me. He says, John, we're making as much money as Michael Jordan today for 10 seconds. We're going to make a lot of money, all right? But Marty Rieger comes in, the head coach of Brentwood, and he says to me, if I turn the backs, my players on the line with their backs to the scorer or to the lane, is that illegal? I says, no, it's not illegal, but I'll call it technical for unsportsmanship. All right?
Really?
All right. He laughed. He said, all right,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
figured that, he said. All right. The kid from St. James, the poor kid, had probably didn't sleep for the whole week.
I was going to say,
And ended
that's a
up
lot of pressure.
Missed 2 and Brentwood wins the championship.
Oh, really? He missed them
He
both?
missed 2 shots. All right? So they're games you never forget. All right.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
there was some great.
When did you decide, I'm done with football? When did you decide you were done with football? I'm done coaching, because you kept officiating forever. But-
Right. And I coached baseball when I was an administrator too.
You kept
Right,
coaching
but
baseball.
What happened in football, right, was there was an administrative position open, right?
This is at CI.
Right, at CI.
Right.
And my youngest daughter was a senior, right? And I was having some medical issues, sinus infections, which I didn't know what they were. They were severe headaches.
Sure.
All right. And during football season, I couldn't get time to get to the doctors because I was coaching football. So I didn't know what they were. And the school, the principal of Central Islip, and some of the people there said, John, you should apply for the assistant principal's position. And I was a few years away from retirement. Right? So the medical issue, plus the fact I was leaving a good team, right?
Right,
So I
right.
felt it was time for my wife and I to do some traveling,
Oh.
right? Okay, and so I decided if I thought I didn't know what the headaches were. I thought they were more severe than they were.
Sure.
Okay, but
But it was
I
probably just a
decided
good
it's time to
sign.
Move on.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. But I became a school administrator and ended up still 3-4 years later. I became the baseball chairman of the county because I had coached baseball all my whole life. All right.
Yeah.
And when Kathy Gallagher found out that I was the baseball retired, she asked me to be the baseball chairman. So
You
I
kept
ended
that for quite a while, right?
yeah, I was the baseball chairman and the vice president of the New York State Baseball
Of the state,
Association,
correct.
Right? But then John Pigeon from William Floyd
Sure.
called me up one day in February. It was the end of February. He says, John, we just fired the baseball coach here. I need a replacement as soon as possible. And I said to him, well, can you recommend anyone? I said, yeah, I can come out. All right. He said, come out for the interview. And then they offered me the job. So I went to the principal and the superintendent, and I told them I was of retirement age.
Sure.
I said, I got to leave at 1 o'clock. All right. If you don't want to allow me, I'll have to retire. All right. Because I want to coach baseball. All right. They said, no, John, go whenever you have to go, no problem.
Really?
All right.
Oh, that's
so I
fantastic.
ended up coaching baseball for William Floyd for 3 years. You know?
Nice.
So that's,
Yeah. You got back out on the diamond for a little while and enjoyed
I started
that.
coaching baseball before I even did football. I mean,
Well, except for you were coaching football when you were in high school, running that defense. Watching film during phys ed
I was
class.
coaching baseball.
No, I'm joking,
I
but
was coaching Little League baseball as a senior in high school. All right, okay. And then when I went to college, I was starting to manage the Little League baseball team. And I took a Little League baseball team.
I was going to say I read that in my notes
Yeah.
that you took them to the Nationals, right?
Yeah, I took a Little League baseball team to the Moose tournament in upstate New York, and we won it. All right, and those kids, they were 12 years old. They never forgot that. They meet every summer.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They meet every summer. I'm invited to their party. All right, every summer. This past summer we went to Isletown Beach, and then one night they had the band playing, and then we had there was a team of 14 guys. I think 12 of them were there. That from all over the country. All right?
That's fantastic.
They never forgot that.
That's what sports does. Those big moments in sports. That's what we do. They build a bond forever.
A lot of those kids from Central Islip, I ended up coaching when I came back to Central Islip and graduated to teach. They were on a JV team that I coached. So we had some good times.
Yeah.
There's some of them are still very good friends of mine. All right,
And you did a stint. You did what'd you do? Hills East football. Football.
Right.
Were you at Hills East before CI?
I coached at Connecticut.
At Connecticut.
And then I left Connecticut to come back to CI. All right. And then I went to Comac.
I had a note. Oh, it was Comac?
Years,
okay.
right? And
Yeah.
I was the head football coach at Comac.
Yeah, someone put Comac and Hills East in here.
Yeah. I went to Comac, and then they started accessing.
Gotcha.
They started accessing. And the principal said to me, who was originally a guidance counselor for me at Central Islip, and that's how I probably got the job, because one of the social studies teachers there was also my social studies teacher. And he was the baseball coach at Comac, right? And I knew him from baseball. So when Racino left Comac to go to the West Coast, he said to the principal, "You should call John DiClemente." All right, he did. They called me over for an interview and offered me the job. And Goldstein, the head football coach at Central Islip, was near retirement also. But George O'Leary, who was on the staff at that time, was my best friend. And George says, "Don't leave, John." And he says, "I want to go into college football. I'm not here for high school." But I said, "George, look, I don't want to compete with you. I'll go to Comac." All right. So I went to Comac. George, of course, eventually left.
Georgia Tech, right?
Yeah, Georgia Tech. He went as an assistant at Georgia Tech, all right, with the Tice brothers.
Right.
Tice brothers. Bobby Ross left Maryland where the Tice brothers played. All right, okay. And the Tice family, their grandparents, all right, lived a house away from where I grew up.
Oh, really?
So I knew the Tice family real well.
Okay.
One of the memories as a kid was George O'Leary and I would play tackle football one-on-one each other, and John Tice, their father, would bring, Jack Tice would bring the two of the young guys over, and they'd run after the football for us. Who the heck knew years
that
later,
they'd be John and Mike Tice?
Two NFL players, and O'Leary would be coaching in the NFL.
That's right. That's right.
College. But that was Central Islip for you.
Yeah.
But I left Comac because they started accessing. That's when Connecticut brought me back. All right. They promised me a job, all right, if I would coach football at Connecticut. Because when this decision happened, all right, it was like May, and when Connecticut offered me a job, they said their teaching positions were all filled up, but Sugarman was the superintendent. He says, "John, if you come and coach football, all right, I guarantee you we'll have a teaching job the following year for you," which they did.
Right.
They offered me the job the following year, but I stayed at Central Islip and coached football at Connecticut for 7 years, I guess, right? And we put the first banner on the wall.
Oh, is that right?
Connecticut, all right? And
did your son go through? Did your son play for you? Was he Connecticut?
Well, that's what happened. My son was an 8th grader or a 9th grader coming up in a program, and Central Islip, John Shaughnessy decided to leave Central Islip's head position. So the principal said to me, "Would I be interested?" So we had a family conference, all right?
Gotcha.
And I said it was better for him to do his thing without his father
Yeah,
getting involved.
I understand
with
that.
it, right? Okay.
Sure.
So I went to Central Islip and I ended up playing against him.
Really?
His senior year before we beat Belport and East Islip, we had to play him. They won the county championship his senior year.
What did he play? What position?
He played. He started out as a quarterback. All right?
I was hoping you didn't say that. Like, you beat your son.
My
It was cool.
assistants at Connecticut at that time thought he was going to be a quarterback. All right, but his mentality, all right, was defense.
Okay,
he liked
yeah.
to hit people. He liked to go out
me
and
too.
tackle people. All right, so I was unsure. That's why I said it's better for me to move on and let
Sure.
Dick Massey wanted the job. I let Dick Massey and Bobby Ambrosini in. All right, and he ended up playing split end and defensive back. And I remember they had to beat Belport for the county championship. All right, so I'm up in the stands watching them, and Bellport is 3-4 points down, and they're driving down in the last minute of the game. All right, and my son Patrick's got to cover their wide receiver. I think it might have been Jasper, his name. I don't remember.
Harold Jasper?
Right.
Who
okay.
was, yeah.
Right. Okay.
He was. I think he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
He was covering them one-on-one. And they threw a pass right into the end zone on second down or third down as the clock was running down, and Patrick deflected it. All right. Down
Good
on
for him.
third down or fourth down. All right. I knew they were going to go back to Jasper. All right. Okay. He ran a drag pattern across the middle, and Patrick was right all over him. All right. And the connect what middle linebacker intercepted it, and that was the ball game. All right?
Nice.
So I wouldn't have lived with my son. You know? We played him. We played him when that year. All right. We lost to Bellport in the semis that year.
Gotcha.
All right. But we played Connecticut early in the season, and we lost 8-0, where my son beat us. All right. Okay. I mean, it was nothing for 3 quarters. All right. We go down the fourth quarter, and we get first and goal from the 8 and 9. And again, like I said to you before, we were throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Right? And at this time, we were letting the receiver call the pattern. All right. If he touched inside of the helmet, he was running a slant. If he touched the middle, he was running a streak. If he was running to touch the outside, he's running in and out. Okay. So all the quarterback was called 90, meaning I'm looking for you now to give me a sign. He touches the out, meaning he's going to run it out. All right. And he runs it inside, a slant instead. And my son intercepts it.
Oh, no way.
Intercepts it in the end zone, runs it back out to the 40-yard line, and they score. All right? From there, when he makes two catches on fourth down inside the 20-yard line, and they win the game. But I said to the receiver, what did you do? He says, well, Patrick was covering me. I figured he knew what the signs were. I said,
oh, that's you know, he thought he was being smart.
They beat us 8-0, all right? And they ended up winning the game. We lost it to Bellport, which was better off because I wouldn't have been able to live at home that week. Right?
Yeah.
You know, when we played him, he wouldn't talk to me all week, you know? So,
and those are high school kids, you know. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Great memories, great stories. What do you want your legacy to be when people bring your name up for the rest of your life? When people say your name, or when you're long gone 100 years from now, when your name comes up, what do you want that to mean to people?
I think, you know, what the most important thing is, I got it from some of the baseball players that wrote letters of recommendation to the board, and the football players, that they respected me, not just for the winning, but they respected me for the values, the principles, and the standards that I taught them. Right? I had some prostate problems this past winter. Then when I got the letter, my daughter showed me the letters of recommendation. I saw that one of the former players is the head doctor for advanced urology in Massapequa. All right. I mean, they made achievements. I have letters saying how they helped them be a parent, being an adult, being a citizen.
That's so awesome.
That to me is the most important thing. I enjoy teaching, right? And my staff, both in football and baseball, were teachers, educators, right? And they let the football strategy and baseball strategy, but we cared about kids.
Sure.
And we wanted to bring about the right values and the right principles of being an adult and doing the right thing. And there were kids that would fight me when they were young kids. By the time they left our program, or when they became adults, they remembered the things we taught them about discipline, about doing the right things in life. And that, to me, that's the most important thing. The winning was great, but teaching kids the right things is most important.
Awesome. You know, I share that philosophy with you. I tell people all the time, people make a broad statement and they say, sports is great for kids.
Yeah, you know.
And I say, that's not true.
Yeah,
sports can be really bad for kids if they're around bad people.
I mean, it brings out your
But when they're around good people like you, then sports is great for kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's I always follow it up with it can be.
Yeah.
If they're around the right coaches, the right officials, the right parents, if they have the right people in their life, sports can teach them about the world. Right. It can be a microcosm of life.
I thank you for that. I mean,
well, because it's true.
I thank you for understanding that. I thank all my players for that. I'm going to have about 20 of them at the induction. I want to come and I think um, you know being a part of their life and teaching them some things is most important, both in baseball and football.
Sure.
I've been lucky in baseball, also coaching the national team. I that won. We were the best 16-year-old team in the country. We won the Junior Olympic tournament, and I got to go to the Olympic camp and meet Robin Roberts and Bob Feller, work with them.
Outstanding.
Baseball, I worked with so many kids, not just from Central Islip, but throughout Suffolk County. So it was some great experiences that I've had. I've been very lucky in my life.
And
Yeah.
everybody's lucky whose lives you touched
Right.
along the way. So thank you, and congratulations on the Suffolk Hall of Fame.
Well, it's been it's an
I'm
honor,
excited about it.
right? And something that I never thought was going to happen. I figured after I was entombed or buried, it maybe would happen then. But
Nah.
at least to be able to live through it it's going to be an experience that I'm looking forward to.
I think there was a lot of change on the board, and Chris Vaccaro, who runs the Suffolk Sports Hall of Fame now, he's so invested in digging deep into getting those guys that have made, and women that have made a difference for a really long time, getting them all in. We have big numbers going in now because there's a lot of people that made a huge, huge impact on Long Island and in Suffolk County, and they need to be in. And you're one of them. Your name has come up in my world a million times. Everybody talks about you as being the best official out there. And then in the coaching circles with guys like Joseph, in my office when I got there's a giant picture in my office, and everything in Belport's sacred to me, so I don't touch anything. I left it alone. People say, hey, it's your office, change it. I go, no. I said, it's CI and Belport, and it almost looks like a rugby scrum. It's one guy running the ball from CI, 3 CI guys pushing him, and 8 Belport guys tackling him. So it's a scrum of like maybe 15 guys. And it just shows the passion and the competitiveness and the nature of those 2 wonderful programs. And it'll be up there forever.
Great battles, great battles. Joseph was a great coach, right? And we had some great battles and some great times. And always, in South Champlain, he was a great coach. And we had some great battles and some great times, right? And just came down the way the ball bounced sometimes.
Sure,
So,
sure.
He became a friend. Ed Hayes out of Lyndhurst became one of my best friends. We traveled the country together, right? So you meet so many good people. That's the best part of the whole thing.
And I met one today. Thank you. Thank you.
Reach out for me. Reach out for me. Reach out for me.